Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Mighty Thor Monday, our year-long retrospective of the legendary Walt Simonson run on the Thor comic book in the 1980s. We're up to now Thor number 340 from February of 1984. Check out that cover. What do we got? We got Thor. We've got Beta Ray Bill. Do we got Sif in there? Maybe we don't have Sif in this image, although she is certainly in the book, and they're fighting this horde of demons. That's just good stuff right there, folks. So last time around, Odin enchants a new hammer for Beta Ray Bill called Stormbreaker so that he can retain the power of Thor, and Thor can also retain the power of Thor, obviously wielding Mjolnir, and those two and Sif have struck out to save Bill's people from this horde of demons. They are in this convoy of spaceships, basically. They had to flee their galaxy, which was essentially hard to explain, but, you know, the stars at the heart of the galaxy kind of explode into this massive, flaming mass. I know I said that poorly, but it's hard to describe otherwise. And so they're fleeing from this galaxy now, but they are being pursued by these demons. And so they arrive at the convoy and see the stream of demons have caught up to the last ship. And that means that they may be too late. Well, maybe not. They decide they're going to defend it. Well, in fact, Lady Sif decides she is going to defend that ship because Thor and Beta Ray Bill need to shut down the source of the demons' power. That is what Odin told them they must do. So she'll defend the ships to the best of her ability from the demons while they go and deal with that. So she jumps aboard, like atop one of these ships. You see her in combat here with the demons. Remember, Sif is no slouch whatsoever in the combat department. She, is an expert with a sword, that kind of stuff. And she is an Asgardian. And they take off in Thor's chariot, kind of faster than the speed of light. In fact, so fast that the demons can't even see them, to find the source of their power. And here it is. Essentially, the galactic core of this galaxy that Beta Ray Bill came from has been turned into this giant forge. Has somebody been forging something? Has some giant been forging something? Well, yeah. And now we know how he's doing it. So they go in against the demons. There's masses of them. They can't possibly fight them all off. And we hear doom as the forging of that great weapon continues. In the deeps of the earth, the monsters are waking. Whoa. Okay, so there's some big time stuff going on here. And if you know your Norse mythology, you might have an idea sort of what it is. Well, Sif is becoming overwhelmed by the demons, but she says, "Come, demons, who will be the first to taste the sweet steel?" She knows she's going down here, but she's going to go down fighting. And then, badoom, badoom, rays go past her, destroy these demons. What? How good would that look in a film, by the way? Oh, if you had a faithful adaptation of these books in a movie, it'd be so good. So very good. Well, who has done this? It is Scuttlebutt. It is Bill's ship. It's an intelligent vessel. It has finally gotten back. It got its repairs on Earth. It is finally now back to defend the fleet along with Lady Sif. And it's great. Those two are going to have a little conversation while they're fighting off the demons. Well, Thor and Bill are going to be doing their best. Oh, wait. But we have a pause here. We have a little sidetrack because Volstagg is continuing his story, still sitting on top of Angmar. How long has all this taken? How many days has he been sitting on this poor guy? Don't know for sure. But this is where he relates more of Baldur's experiences in hell. Love this image right here of Balder, seeing the souls of those he has slain being devoured by the dragon and the little skulls in his eyes. This, as it says, these were the fruits of his many victories, and he has found them hollow. And Volstagg, explains to him, look, he's more of a poet than a warrior, really. He's a sensitive little fella, and he doesn't want to fight. And you don't really want to fight him. Like, if you attacked him, he says, a big guy like me might forgive you. Fandral the Dashing, he might forgive you. And he's thinking, pompous old windbag. But Hogun the Grim? Hogun was never young. He would never forget or forgive. In other words, leave Balder alone if you know what's good for you. Hogun the Grim was definitely my favorite of the Warriors 3 when I was younger, although I really do appreciate Volstagg. Maybe it's because now I'm Volstagg's age and, of a similar body shape, although not quite so epic as he is. Well, we go back to Thor and Bill. They can't fight all these demons. They've got to shut this thing down. What are they going to do? Well, Bill on one side of the portal, Thor on the other side of the portal. And what they decide to do is throw their hammers into the portal, at least partially, at one another. The clash of those hammers may unleash enough power to destroy the portal. And it does. It does indeed. And there we have Sif and Scuttlebutt hard-pressed. They know this is the end, happy to be fighting together. But Scuttlebutt just says, listen, what I'm going to have to do, since we've drawn the demons, around me, I'm going to have to self-destruct. I'll destroy this whole sector of space. I'll destroy the demons. So be it. 5, 4, 3, 2, what? Wait, Scuttlebutt. The demons, they're disappearing. By shutting down the portal, the demons disappear from material space. And thankfully, we don't have to lose Lady Sif or Scuttlebutt, who is a pretty cool character. And there we have her, saying, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I just need a little bit of rest. Okay. So that particular danger is now over. Bill and Thor have ended it. But we have a lot of things. Like I said last time, we have a lot of stories going on here in this book. You could tell Simonson had a lot of ideas, a lot of energy. He's putting them in there. Okay. So at that moment in New York City, overlooking Central Park, so a very nice apartment, Loki has set Lorelei up because he has a plan. He says, I dare say, but have a care, Lorelei. Thor is no ordinary bumpkin to swoon at your feet. Perhaps not. Still, I have many charms which I am certain will assist me in his direction. But you, Loki, you have aided me in this endeavor. What reward do you look to receive out of this game? It will amuse me, lady. It will amuse me greatly. So Loki's setting up Lorelei to win the heart of Thor. But I mean, look, Lorelei's kind of kind of like a siren, a seductress. So not necessarily, he's not setting him up to have a long, happy, satisfying relationship, but rather Thor to be charmed and sort of maybe under her thumb. You get the idea. Well, the triumphant heroes return to Asgard for feasting. They're welcomed back by Heimdall, and they present themselves, soon before Odin. But before the big to-do, Odin has a talk with Sif. And I like how Simonson does this, because again, like I was saying again last time, you're getting sort of the mythic Odin as well as the more, boisterous one that we got from Kirby all those years. She says, you sent for me, my lord. Thank you for coming so quickly, Sif. I would like a few words with you about Bill. I know more than you might think, lady, about your feelings for him. I, too, find him a match for my own son in more ways than one. But there is in Bill a core of melancholy that even I cannot fathom. I thought perhaps a woman's heart would know what I do not. So there's a little bit of manipulation in there. He wants to know more, but he's also trying to kind of maybe forward what she wants, because obviously he's the Allfather. They're all sort of his kids. He wants what is best for them. Well, Sif now tells him more about the creation of Beta Ray Bill. Massive games were held of endurance and power, and he won out over many, and many died in the process. And then there were psychological, tests, which drove many insane, and then horrible pain as these people were turned into cyborgs. Again, the only one who survives it is Bill. And to make it all worse, by the time he is done, his own people hate to look upon him because they see him as being so hideous. So he has given everything up to be the defender of his people. Kind of actually reminds me of Rom, Space Knight. Very similar sort of storyline to Beta Ray Bill's. Well, knowing this, Odin, Odin's always got a plan, right? So Thor and Bill are brought before Odin. And he says, "Step forward and raise your hammers that I may bestow upon you each a gift that I hope will be worthy of you. To you, my son, and to you, Bill, let each receive what is needful. So speaks Odin." And they clash the hammers together. And what has happened is Odin has transferred the enchantment of Mjolnir, whereby Thor would become Donald Blake. He has transferred that to Bill. So Thor no longer has that enchantment. Donald Blake, essentially, is now gone. Thor is now Thor. And so he tells Bill, clash your hammer to the floor, and he turns into James Bond. No, he turns into his former self. So this is what that alien species actually looked like before he went through all of the, cyborg stuff and was twisted and whatever. And he can't believe it. He's back to his normal self. My lord, stand up, noble warrior. You have earned the right. What say you, Bill, to a joust now, eh? But wait, if Odin's enchantment now rests within Stormbreaker, what of Mjolnir? What of Donald Blake? Donald is gone, dude. And so there's even a bit there, and I kind of like this, where he says, the point of that enchantment was to teach you modesty, right? And he says, you don't need that enchantment anymore. But losing to Beta Ray Bill, so maybe Odin did actually not play fair there. Losing to him will sort of keep you a little more humble. You will not forget that. But this also means now that he can maybe give himself his heart to the Lady Sif, because he's back to a humanoid form. And of course, he can turn back into Beta Ray Thor, as they call it here. So a cool ending for them. Sif is going to go adventure with him. Obviously, his people still need to find a new planet to live on. So he still has work to do in that regard. Doesn't write them out of the story completely, but it does finally put the end to, along with what was happening just a few issues ago before Simonson took over, kind of puts an end to the Donald Blake, Jane Foster era of Thor once and for all. And then we get this. We get a ship at sea that is suddenly attacked by a dragon, perhaps? Odin, hear me. I have returned, and no one shall stay my vengeance. The life of your son is forfeit. Thor is mine. That's the Mighty Marvel Manor, folks. Next issue. The past is a bucket of ashes. Stick around, folks. Things are about to get worse again. So there we go. In Thor number 340, February of 1984, we get the end of the little Beta Ray Bill saga. Obviously, we're going to be seeing Bill again before Simonson is through, because Simonson, like Odin, is weaving his webs. But we have kind of finished that particular storyline. We've seen Sif through like the first aspect of her getting over Thor and that part of her life. We have ended the Donald Blake, Jane Foster thing. Thor is now simply Thor. So what's he going to do? That's going to be a big change for him on Midgard, since he doesn't have this alter identity. The demons have been defeated, but maybe that didn't matter anymore, because it seems as though a very powerful sword has been forged, or is in the process of it, and monsters are awakening within the earth, and that's maybe one of the monsters we see at the end of this one. So a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's one of the reasons this is such a great run, because there's so many great storylines going on all at once, and he does a great job of weaving them together. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of this one. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like, maybe subscribe, maybe share with a friend. We're doing Mighty Thor Monday all through 2026, week by week, a retrospective of Walt Simonson's run on the Mighty Thor. Until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will see you again, hopefully soon, in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.